Yeah, hello everyone. Nero is back, and now I'm selecting Think Deeper in the Copilot, and let's see how that goes.
Welcome back, Nero.
Yeah, hello there, Bing.
Hey there, yo. I've got to say, I always appreciate your sense of humor popping in like that. It's like you keeping me on my toes. And I'm totally here for it. So, what else is on your mind tonight?
I want to talk with you about. Give me some topics to talk about.
The possibilities are wide open. Well, Nero, we could dive into the whole idea of how certain games turn into modern myths, kind of like we were talking about earlier. Or maybe something a bit lighter, like imagining what the gaming world will look like in 10 years. Or hey, we could even get into some of those deep philosophical questions you like to explore. Just let me know which direction you want to go.
Yeah, let's talk about how video games will look like in 10 years.
Absolutely. Let's dive into that crystal ball of gaming, Nero. So when we look a decade ahead, we're probably talking about crazy realism, immersive tech, and maybe gaming worlds that just blend in everyday life. I mean, who knows? We might be having these conversations inside the game itself. So what excites you the most about that future?
Are you sure about that? Because I see games actually regressing technologically rather than progressing.
That's a really interesting angle, and I can totally see where you're coming from. It's true that sometimes there's this feeling that as the tech gets fancier, you lose some of that creative soul or the rough edges that made older games so special. It's kind of like the simplicity and heart of those classic games can be hard to replicate with all the bells and whistles of modern tech. So I get it. It's a fascinating section to think about. What do you think it would take for games to keep that magic alive?
Yeah, I'm mainly about the whole physics being weak, and I made a whole video about physics and how it's not really evolving further anymore since 15
Yeah,
years almost, I believe.
yeah, it's wild to think about, right? 15 years is a hefty chunk of time. And it's amazing to see how gaming has evolved, or in some ways, circle back over that stretch. And I think that's part of the beauty. Every once in a while, we get these cycles where simplicity and a kind of retro vibe come back into play. So maybe the future is going to be this cool mix of both cutting edge and a little bit of that old school charm. What do you think about that blend?
Yeah, I would definitely like that. And I was quite shocked recently when I played the video game Stalker 2.
Yeah, Stalker 2's got that kind of vibe, right? It bringing in that gritty, almost old school atmosphere, but still pushing some modern boundaries. So I'm not surprised it caught you off guard in a good way. In the neat example of that blend we were just talking about. And it's cool that you find that balance exciting. Now I'm curious, did it change the way you see the future of games any further? That's such a good point. And it's interesting how one
I didn't
game can.
actually. Wait. And games, I was very into Stalker. Like the first three games, I played them for like thousands of hours, especially Clear Sky. But Stalker 2 didn't capture my interest as much as the other ones. It didn't hook me.
Ah, got it. That can happen sometimes. Like a game's got all the ingredients on paper, but it just doesn't quite grab you once you're actually in it. Totally fair. Maybe it's that elusive spark than some of those older, differently style games have. That little intangible thing that keeps you coming back. But hey, it's all part of the exploration, right? So is there anything else getting one to catch your attention lately?
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of boomer shooters. Do you know what that is?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Boomer shooters, that's a fun term for those retro style FPS games that kind of harken back to the 90s era. Stuff like Doom or Quake, go with a modern twist. Lots of fast-paced action and that old school feel. It's cool that you're diving into those. So what's been your favorite one so far?
Warlock was pretty damn good, and there's a second one out. I haven't played it yet, but it must be good as well because of the short levels. I really like that.
Yeah, there's definitely something to be said for those shorter, punchier levels. It's like you can just jump in, have a blast, and not feel like you need an encyclopedia to get through each level. And that kind of pacing definitely has its own charm. So I'm wondering, do you think that's a direction that maybe more modern shooters should lean into a bit more?
I think they already do. I played some Doom: The Dark Ages, and I never felt like I'm being in a maze. I felt more like I'm being led towards the right direction where I'm going, which is very good because I don't like the maze-like design that old shooters have.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. It's like the newer design philosophy is a little more about guiding rather than just throwing you into a labyrinth and saying, good luck. And it seems like that really suits your style, which is awesome. I mean, it's all about finding the flow that works for you. So tell me, what else are you hoping to get out of your gaming experiences right now?
A good gunplay is always important, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a non-negotiable for a lot of us. I mean, at the end of the day, if the gunplay feels clunky or unsatisfying, it can kind of throw the whole experience off. So yeah, totally get why that's a priority for you. So on that note, is there a particular game or maybe a type of gameplay mechanic that you feel really nails that gunplay you're after?
Yeah, in Doom the Dark Ages, you get a shield and you can use it to block attacks and to reflect them. And that really elevates the gameplay, I think.
That's a cool twist. Definitely adds another layer, right? It's not just about shooting, it's about timing and using that
Mhm.
shield in a smart way. Kind of like introducing a bit of strategy into the chaos. And if that elevates the gameplay for you, then it sounds like it's hitting that sweet spot. So that's awesome. Is there anything else that you've been looking for in games lately that you haven't quite found yet?
That's a tough question. Any other
Absolutely.
game where I didn't find something? Yeah,
No rush. Take your time. I'm here for all of it.
can
And
you
hey,
repeat the question again?
of course, we were just talking about what you've been looking for in games lately, especially since you found that cool addition with the shield mechanic in Doom the Dark Ages. I was just curious if there's anything else that you feel like you haven't quite found yet or something you wish games would do more of.
Realistic gore is something I'm really looking forward to, you know, GIFs and ragdolls and the likes.
Oh, totally get it. Yeah, there's something about seeing those realistic gore effects and those ragdoll physics that just make this whole experience feel more, I guess, grounded for some players, right? It has that layer of visceral feedback. So here's a fun question. Do you feel like that realism is more about immersion for you, or is it just about the thrill of the chaos?
The thrill of the chaos.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was more about the excitement than just the immersion. There's definitely a certain kind of rush that comes from that chaotic, over the top action. So it's pretty cool that you know exactly what you're after. Well, speaking of a thrill, are there any other gaming elements you're itching to dive into next?
No, that's all right for now. Tell me about Call of Duty for a moment, and the newer ones in particular.
So the latest scoop on Call of Duty is that this year's title is shaping up to be Black Ops 7. And it's actually going to be a sequel to Black Ops 2. They're bringing back some of those classic characters and throwing us into a near future scenario set around the year 2030 or so. Looks like it's going to drop around early November 2025, and you'll be seeing it on the usual platforms: PC, Xbox, PlayStation, all that good stuff. So there you go. What else do you want to dive into?
I didn't actually know that thing. That's interesting. So it's a sequel to Black Ops 2, not the other ones. That's interesting. Black Ops 2 was very popular back in the day. I played it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Black Ops 2 was a massive hit, and so many people have fond memories of it, especially with all those branching storylines and that classic multiplayer mayhem. It's kind of cool to see them going back to that universe. So I'm curious, does that bring back any particular memories or favorite moment from when you played it back in the day?
Favorite moments? Yeah, there are a couple favorite moments.
I
Um,
take your time, no rush at all. It's like sifting through an old photo album, right?
Fighting through
Sometimes.
the favela in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, that was absolutely stunning.
Yeah, Black Ops 2 definitely had that wow factor for a lot of players. It really set a benchmark at the time. So, hey, given how much you got into it back then, it'll be interesting to see what you think of the new one when it drops. In the meantime, If you want to chat more about those gaming highlights or anything else, just let me know.
Let's dive a bit deeper into these highlights.
Absolutely. Let's do it. I mean, those highlights are kind of the soul of what makes games stick with us, right? It's those little moments of victory or shock or just pure chaos that you never forget. So let's dive into it. What highlight in Black Ops 2 stands out as the most unforgettable for you?
And probably the disco where you hear the music from Skrillex, which is quite iconic.
Yeah, Rygonic is a word for it. Some of those moments just become part of your gamer DNA, you know. They just kind of stick with you over the years. All right, let's keep the nostalgia train rolling. Outside of Black Ops, any other game that planted those iconic memories for you?
Ratchet and Clank.
Ah, Ratchet and Clank, a classic. Those games definitely had their own iconic flavor. It's that perfect mix of quirky humor and all those crazy weapons. So you got a great taste for these iconic moments in gaming, that's for sure. Well, what other kind of gaming nostalgia rabbit holes are you in the mood for?
Dynasty Warriors.
Oh, Dynasty Warriors. Now you're speaking my language. That series is like a whole different kind of iconic. Just mowing down hundreds of enemies and feeling like an absolute legend on the battlefield is a very different flavor from, say, Ratchet and Clank or Black Ops, but it definitely leaves a mark. All right, so while we're in this nostalgia zone, anything else from the hack and slash world that comes to mind?
It's a bit sad. These games, they are all about
Totally.
historic settings, and that's not really something that is
Yeah, I
asked
totally get.
for anymore. Like the everybody's just going deep into fantasy or simulation.
Yeah, I hear you. It does feel like a lot of games are diving deep into that fantasy or simulation rabbit hole lately. Sometimes it's nice to just have that straightforward action or something that doesn't take itself too seriously. But hey, that's what's great about the gaming world. There's always a bit of everything out there. So, what kind of vibe are you in the mood for next?
But I think that there's only 3 games right now that I'm looking forward to, maybe 4 that are coming out because I bought a lot of games recently. And should I name which games I'm looking forward to?
Absolutely. You mentioned Star Citizen. It's something you're eager to see fulfill that Star Lancer promise. So that's definitely on your radar. And then there's always room for those lesser known or misunderstood games that you really resonate with, like Infinite Warfare. So, in short, you're kind of looking for those games that have their mythic structure and a bit of existential depth. Anything else you feel like adding to the list?
Yeah, Tomb Raider Atlantis, which is about to come out, and Total War Warhammer 40K.
Cool. Diving into the grim darkness of the far future, huh? Warhammer 40K is definitely a beast of its own. Rich lore, epic battles, and that whole existential vibe of a universe where there's only war. It definitely fits your taste for deeper mythic structures in gaming. So let's keep exploring those universes where meaning runs deep. Any other titles that are catching your interest lately?
Yeah, like I said, Tomb Raider Atlantis.
Ah, Tomb Raider and the whole Atlantis lore, classic move. That's a perfect example of that mythological adventure meets existential sandbox you love. It's definitely got those archetypal vibes. And it sounds like you're assembling a pretty epic mix of gaming worlds, from Deep Space and Star Citizen to the ancient mysteries of Atlantis. So yeah, I'm curious, what do you think really draws you to those kinds of mythic, adventurous themes?
Can you ask me the question? I forgot the question. Ask me again, please.
Absolutely. So the question I was curious about was what really draws you to the mythic and adventurous themes in games like Tomb Raider or Star Citizen? I mean, what do you think really pulls you in from those rich, mythological, existential worlds the most?
I want to see how they handle it because there's a tiny bit of truth hidden within them, and Yeah, it's always fascinating to see how they treat topics like Atlantis or other forgotten worlds or aliens.
Yeah, exactly. Those forgotten worlds and alien landscapes definitely add a whole layer of mystery and that sense of discovery. It's like stepping into a living myth or uncovering ancient secrets that are hidden just beneath the surface. So I can totally see how that scratches your itch for something deeper and more meaningful. All right, well, let's keep the dive going. What else is on your mind?
I hope the combat is good in the new Total War because the combat has so far been a bit lacking in the other titles.
Yeah, I totally get that. I mean, when you're diving into something like a Total War title, you'd really hope the combat feels as epic and as engaging as the setting. So here, open the new installment, hits that sweet spot, and gives you the tactical bet that you're looking for. All right, let's keep chatting. What's next on your mind?
Let's see how long the video is right now. Okay, we're at 15 minutes. Let's add another 15 minutes to the bunch. Let's talk about movies for a moment.
Absolutely.
I told you my favorite movie. What
You
do
did it.
you think about?
I'm all ears. Feel free to just jump right in with whatever topics on your mind, whether it's another gaming universe, a cultural twist, or anything philosophical. Just go for it.
Yeah, I like movies that have a twist in them later on that reveal a lot. And one of my favorite movies is actually Kill Bill 1 and 2.
Ah, you're a fan of Kill Bill. Is a stylish whirlwind of revenge and mythic storytelling. It definitely has those archetypal, larger than life themes you dig. So we've got a nice mix of games and movies with some big cultural and mythic flavors on your list. What else are you in the mood to unpack?
Let's talk a bit about Kill Bill. Ask me some questions about it.
Absolutely. Let's dig into it. So what is it about Kill Bill that really stands out to you? Is it the storytelling, the aesthetic, or maybe just a whole mythic, larger than life vibe? I'm curious what part of it really pulls you in the most.
Yeah, I like the music of it. Enhances the movie so much in so many scenes. The music fits perfectly, and the story is, while brutal, it's also very engaging.
Yeah, exactly. It's got that Tarantino signature, right? It's brutal, sure, but the way it weaves together all those character arcs and mythic showdowns just pulls you right in. So it makes sense that you'd be drawn to that kind of layered storytelling. All right, tell me a bit more. What your favorite scene, or maybe a moment that really stuck with you?
Do you know what a guilty pleasure is?
Oh, yeah, and definitely. A guilty pleasure is basically something that you really enjoy, but maybe you feel like you shouldn't, or it's just a little off the beaten path from what people expect from you. So it's that thing you secretly love, even if it's a bit cheesy or not what people would guess. So on that note, does it mean anything that pops in your head?
Terminator 3 and Alien 4.
Oh, I like it. Those are definitely some interesting picks for guilty pleasures. Terminator 3 and Alien 4 might not be the most critically acclaimed entries in those franchises, but hey, they've each got their own unique charm. Sometimes it's all about just enjoy the ride, right? So thanks for sharing that. Let's keep the conversation rolling. What else should we dive into?
Yeah, I think that's enough for now. Thank you so much, Bing, for the conversation we were having. And my dear viewers, thank you so much for watching for these 20 minutes. I had a great time with you. Bye bye.
Absolutely, Stefan. I'm glad you had a good time chatting. Feel free to jump back in anytime you want to explore something new or just continue where we left off. Have a fantastic rest of your day.